to start from one premise. Teaching is an art. But to practice that art, as we see on the paper we're putting here today, they need autonomy. They can't be completely regulated. They can't be stifled in their autonomy. They have to be creative. They have to be inventive. They have to be courageous and adapt to a circumstance that they didn't expect and live in the moment and be awake to the moment. And that's why it's so demanding, but also why it's so fulfilling. If you can live like that with the children, with your colleagues, with the families, it makes it all very worthwhile, regardless of whether you're paid or professionally promoted, whatever. Just being in that interlocking relationship with each other and the children is very fulfilling. But you have to be able to do it. And if you look back to your own schooling, you often think of the one good teacher, the one who inspired you, and you realize it's about your personality. Who you are is what teaches the children, not just what you know or how you've been trained, but it's who you are that has an effect beyond you as a person, has an effect on the community of a class. A class is a community, as the school is. And so I think what we have to do now when we're looking at school reform is really see that artistic element and find ways to support it. The relationship to knowledge also changed. What we knew a few years ago is different from what we know today. What we understand of the world is different, and the same for the children. We have to help them develop a healthy relationship to their knowledge and be alert and interested in the world, not stifled by information that they can't digest, or too young for, is over their heads, or too drastic. They have to be able to keep that early childhood curiosity throughout life. Then life becomes interesting, and as a teacher, one has to be interested in everything around because of the circumstances you live in. So that's the task. If we want to reform schools and make them more suitable for the children of this world, all over the world, but this world, not the past world, because education tends to build on models of the past. You only have to look at history and you'll see that the models of schools, even the name of schools, when we call them Athenaeum, Lyceum, we're going back to the ancient Greeks, yes? Or grammar school in English, the ancient Romans. Somehow education is difficult to move. There have been many great pedagogues like Kotzak or this is named after Freire, very great inspirers of new education, but it is so difficult. It gets stuck in a tradition because traditions are safe, traditions are secure, but that doesn't enhance meeting the children's needs, especially today when the world is changing so fast. The demands are so great, which these children and the challenges they are going to face in the future. They need that creative ability. And the best way of being creative is to have seen it in the others. A creative teacher can inspire the inner development of the child to become what they want to become, not what we want them to become. Because our society will not be the same society they grow into. They will grow into a different world, into a different social setting, a different community than what we've experienced and we experience today. So we have to give them that freedom, and also the teachers need it too. So that's my premise. Teaching is an art, and all the consequences of that have to be taken into consideration by those who support financially, support politically, the policy makers. They have to allow that quality, because in an art, you run a risk. You never know what you're really going to come up with in the end. You make a painting or a piece of music or write a novel or a poem. It develops as you go along. And it's the same with teaching. It develops as you go along in partnership with the children and others of the school community. The school is a living organism. It should be a living organism. And to allow everybody then to find their way through that. So thank you.